Welcome to the Pacific Ocean. The largest and deepest body of water on Earth. Beneath its calm surface lies a world without sunlight, memory, or familiar time. Here, mountains rise upside down, trenches sink deeper than Everest is tall, and life survives without light. This is not just water. This is the planet's last great unknown. The Pacific Ocean covers more than 30% of Earth's surface and shapes global climate, life, and movement. It stretches from Asia to the Americas, linking continents, cultures, and ecosystems. Within its depths exist trenches, volcanoes, ridges, and ecosystems science is still trying to understand. Some regions remain completely unexplored, even today. Which part of the Pacific Ocean do you think holds the greatest mystery? If journeys like this expand your understanding of the world, please support the channel. Liking and subscribing is completely free, but it helps creators more than you can imagine. And tell us in the comments, which ocean or region should we explore next? Aitutaki Islands, French Polynesia. Aitutaki Island lies within the Tetiaroa Atoll, north of Tahiti in French Polynesia. It is surrounded by a shallow lagoon, coral reefs, and calm turquoise waters. The island is small, flat, and shaped by coral formations rather than volcanic rock. Palm trees, native plants, and white sand define its quiet landscape. Historically, Tetiaroa served as a retreat area for Polynesian leaders centuries ago. Aitutaki Island later became known for conservation-focused development and research. The surrounding lagoon supports reef fish, rays, and migrating seabirds. Marine life here thrives due to limited human impact and protected waters. Coral reefs near the island grow in clear, warm conditions year-round. Water temperatures usually range between 24 degrees Celsius to 28 degrees Celsius, or 75 degrees Fahrenheit to 82 degrees Fahrenheit. Local food traditions in nearby islands emphasize fresh fish, coconut, and tropical fruits. Meals are simple, seasonal, and closely tied to the ocean environment. Tourism around Tahi Island focuses on low-impact experiences and sustainability. Activities include lagoon exploration, snorkeling, and nature observation. There is no permanent population living on the island itself. Nearby communities on Tahiti support research, tourism, and marine conservation work. Tahi Island represents a rare balance between natural beauty and environmental care. It offers a quiet glimpse into how Pacific Islands once existed, shaped only by ocean and time. Bora Bora. Bora Bora is a small island in the South Pacific, part of French Polynesia. It sits northwest of Tahiti, surrounded by a vast turquoise lagoon and coral reef. At the island's center rises Mount Otomanu, a volcanic peak reaching 727 meters or 2,385 feet. Its jagged slopes shape the island's dramatic skyline and define its geography. Bora Bora formed from an ancient volcano, later encircled by coral growth. Over time, erosion and reef expansion created the lagoon seen today. The lagoon is shallow, warm, and exceptionally clear throughout the year. Water temperatures average 24 to 28 degrees Celsius, 75 to 82 degrees Fahrenheit, ideal for marine life. Coral reefs shelter reef fish, rays, sharks, and colorful invertebrates. Snorkeling and lagoon exploration reveal ecosystems close to the surface. Local culture across nearby islands values ocean knowledge and navigation skills. Daily life traditionally revolved around fishing, canoe travel, and reef awareness. Food traditions emphasize fresh seafood, coconut, breadfruit, and tropical fruits. Ingredients are simple and closely linked to local waters and seasons. Modern Bora Bora relies heavily on tourism and marine-based activities. The island hosts resorts, conservation programs, and lagoon protection efforts. The permanent population is small, with most residents living along the coast. Despite global attention, large areas of the lagoon remain calm and quiet. Bora Bora reflects the Pacific at its most balanced. a place where volcanic land, coral life and open water exist in rare harmony. Fiji. Fiji is an island nation in the South Pacific, east of Australia and north of New Zealand. It consists of more than 330 islands scattered across warm tropical waters. The two main islands, Viti Levu and Vanua Levu, hold most of the population. Mountain ranges, rivers and coastal plains shape their interior landscapes. Fiji's islands were formed through volcanic activity and coral reef growth. Over time, erosion and reef expansion created lagoons and sandy coastlines. Coral reefs surround many islands, acting as natural barriers against open ocean waves. These reefs support fish, sea turtles, reef sharks, and colorful coral species. Water temperatures remain stable year-round, averaging 25 to 29 degrees Celsius, 77 to 84 degrees Fahrenheit. Clear lagoons and reef channels make marine exploration accessible. Fijian culture places strong value on community, respect, and shared traditions. Daily life historically centered on fishing, farming, and coastal navigation. Local food relies on fish, root crops, coconut, and seasonal tropical fruits. Meals are prepared using earth ovens and simple cooking methods. Today, tourism plays a major role in Fiji's economy and employment. Resorts, small islands, and villages support travel, marine activities, and services. Most people live in coastal towns and inland valleys on larger islands. Smaller islands remain lightly populated or uninhabited. Fiji represents the Pacific's welcoming side, a place where island life, ocean rhythms, and tradition continue side by side. San Benedicto Island. San Benedicto Island is a remote volcanic island in the eastern Pacific Ocean. It belongs to Mexico's Revillagigedo Islands, located about 480 kilometers or 298 miles offshore. The island is shaped almost entirely by volcanic forces. Its surface is rugged, rocky, and largely covered with solidified lava flows. San Benedicto last erupted in 1952, dramatically reshaping its landscape. The eruption destroyed earlier vegetation, leaving behind a raw volcanic terrain. Today, the island remains uninhabited and protected from human settlement. There is no permanent population living on the island. Surrounding waters drop steeply into deep ocean zones. This creates ideal conditions for large pelagic marine species. The island is world known for its rich marine biodiversity. Giant manta rays, dolphins, sharks, and tuna frequently appear near its shores. Strong ocean currents bring nutrients from deep waters to the surface. This supports a dense food chain close to the island. Coral growth here is limited due to volcanic rock and wave exposure. Instead, marine life gathers around underwater ridges and drop-offs. Food traditions are not present on the island itself. Nearby Mexican coastal regions rely heavily on seafood-based diets. Tourism is strictly controlled and limited to live-aboard diving expeditions. Activities focus on observation, research, and marine conservation. San Benedicto Island represents the Pacific's raw power, a place where volcanic history and deep ocean life meet without human interference. Galapagos Islands. The Galapagos Islands are a remote volcanic archipelago in the eastern Pacific Ocean. They lie about 1,000 kilometers or 621 miles west of mainland Ecuador. The islands were formed by volcanic activity over a moving tectonic hotspot. This process created varied landscapes, from lava fields to cratered highlands. Many islands remain geologically young and volcanically active today. Fresh lava flows and ash fields shape parts of the terrain. The surrounding waters are influenced by several major ocean currents. Warm and cold currents mix here, creating unusual marine conditions. This mixing supports a wide range of marine life near the surface. Sea turtles, sharks, rays, and schooling fish are commonly observed. On land, species evolved in isolation over thousands of years. Many animals developed traits found nowhere else on Earth. The islands played a key role in scientific understanding of evolution. Observations made here influenced modern biological research. Human settlement is limited to a few designated areas. Strict regulations control access, development, and daily activities. Local food relies on seafood, root crops, and imported supplies. Fishing is regulated to protect marine populations. Tourism is carefully managed through guided visits and conservation rules. Activities focus on wildlife observation, research, and education. Roughly 30,000 people live across several inhabited islands. Most work in services, research support, or conservation-related roles. The Galapagos Islands reveal nature shaped without human design, a living system where land, ocean, and life continue to evolve together. Great Barrier Reef. The Great Barrier Reef stretches along Australia's northeast coast in the Coral Sea. It spans more than 2,300 kilometers, 1,430 miles, making it the largest reef system on Earth. This vast structure is made up of over 2,900 individual reefs and hundreds of islands. Most reefs formed from coral growth over thousands of years. Corals here grow in shallow, sunlit waters above the continental shelf. Depths usually range between 5 to 35 meters, 16 to 115 feet. The reef supports one of the most diverse marine ecosystems in the world. Fish, sea turtles, rays, sharks, and invertebrates live within its coral networks. Seasonal water temperatures range from 23 to 29 degrees Celsius, 73 to 84 degrees Fahrenheit. These conditions allow coral and marine life to thrive year-round. The reef has long supported coastal communities through fishing and navigation. Knowledge of tides, currents, and reef passages shaped daily life. Local food traditions along Australia's northeast coast emphasize seafood. Fish and shellfish have historically been important protein sources. Today, the reef plays a major role in Australia's tourism economy. Activities include snorkeling, diving, reef cruises, and research expeditions. Strict marine park regulations control fishing, access, and development. Large sections are protected to preserve coral health and biodiversity. There is no permanent population living on the reef itself. Nearby coastal towns support tourism, science, and conservation efforts. The Great Barrier Reef represents nature at a continental scale, a living structure built by millions of tiny organisms over immense time. Aitutaki. Aitutaki is a coral atoll in the Cook Islands, located in the South Pacific Ocean. It lies about 220 kilometers or 137 miles north of Rarotonga, the country's main island. The atoll is formed by a central volcanic island surrounded by a wide lagoon. Over time, coral growth created small islets, known locally as motu. Aitutaki Lagoon is shallow, calm, and exceptionally clear. Its waters often appear in layered shades of blue and green. Depths across the lagoon average 1 to 4 meters, 3 to 13 feet. These conditions support seagrass, reef fish, and giant clams. The reef system protects the lagoon from strong Pacific swells. This allows marine life to thrive close to the surface. Historically, Aitutaki played an important role in Polynesian navigation routes. The island connected ocean travel between Central and Eastern Pacific regions. Local culture emphasizes community, craftsmanship, and ocean knowledge. Canoe building and fishing skills were passed across generations. Food traditions rely on fish, coconut, breadfruit, and taro. Meals are seasonal and closely linked to lagoon resources. Tourism today focuses on low-impact lagoon activities. Visitors explore by small boats, paddlecraft, and guided snorkeling. The island has a small permanent population living around coastal villages. Daily life remains quiet, shaped by tides rather than schedules. Aitutaki represents the Pacific at its most serene, a place where lagoon, land and sky meet in perfect balance. Rarotonga. Rarotonga is the largest and most populated island in the Cook Islands. It sits in the South Pacific, surrounded by a continuous coral reef and lagoon. A rugged volcanic core rises sharply at the island's center. Mount Temanga reaches about 653 meters or 2,142 feet, the highest point. The island was formed by volcanic activity millions of years ago. Erosion later shaped deep valleys and steep green ridges. A narrow coastal plain circles the island. Most villages, roads and daily life follow this shoreline ring. The surrounding lagoon is shallow and protected by the outer reef. Water depths usually range between 1 to 5 meters, 3 to 16 feet. Coral reefs support reef fish, sea turtles, and lagoon ecosystems. The reef also acts as a natural barrier against open ocean waves. Rarotonga has long been a cultural center of the Cook Islands. Traditional knowledge focused on navigation, farming, and ocean reading. Local culture values community gatherings, music, and craft traditions. Handmade weaving and carving remain part of daily life. Food traditions rely on fish, taro, breadfruit, and coconut. Meals reflect seasonal harvests and lagoon resources. Tourism is a key part of the modern economy. Small resorts, guest houses, and local businesses support visitors. Around 10,000 people live on Rarotonga. Most residents work in services, agriculture, or tourism-related roles. Rarotonga blends energy with simplicity, an island where mountains, reef, and community life remain closely connected. Tasman Sea. The Tasman Sea lies between Australia and New Zealand in the southwestern Pacific Ocean. It stretches roughly 2,000 kilometers or 1,243 miles from north to south. This sea connects the Coral Sea in the north with the Southern Ocean in the south. Its position makes it a major passage between two island continents. The Tasman Sea formed as Australia and New Zealand drifted apart millions of years ago. Tectonic movement created deep basins and underwater ridges beneath its surface. Average depths range around 3,000 meters (9,843 feet). Some sections drop even deeper due to ancient seafloor spreading. Ocean currents strongly influence the Tasman Sea's conditions. The East Australian current carries warm water southward into cooler zones. This mixing creates rich marine ecosystems. Whales, dolphins, seabirds, and large fish migrate through these waters seasonally. The sea has long played a role in human navigation and exploration. Early Polynesian voyagers crossed it using stars, winds, and ocean swells. Later, European explorers used the Tasman Sea to reach the Pacific region. Trade routes and migration followed these same waters. There is no permanent population living on the Tasman Sea itself. Its influence is felt along the coasts of Australia and New Zealand. Fishing and shipping remain important modern activities. Weather systems here can change quickly, shaping sea conditions. The Tasman Sea reflects the Pacific's dynamic nature, a moving space of currents, history, and constant exchange between lands. Tonga. Tonga is a Polynesian island nation in the South Pacific Ocean. It lies east of Fiji and south of Samoa, spread across a long island chain. The country consists of about 170 islands, many of them uninhabited. These islands stretch over nearly 800 kilometers or 497 miles from north to south. Tonga's geography is shaped by volcanic activity and coral reef formation. Some islands rise sharply, while others are low coral platforms. The Tonga Trench runs east of the islands. It reaches depths of more than 10,800 meters, 35,433 feet, among the deepest on Earth. Warm tropical waters surround the islands throughout the year. Sea temperatures generally range between 24 to 28 degrees Celsius, 75 to 82 degrees Fahrenheit. Marine life includes reef fish, sea turtles, whales, and dolphins. Seasonal whale migrations pass close to the islands. Tongan culture places strong importance on family, respect, and shared responsibility. Community life traditionally centers around villages and extended households. Food traditions rely on fish, root crops, coconut, and tropical fruits. Meals are simple, filling, and prepared using earth ovens. Historically, Tonga maintained strong regional influence across Polynesia. Its island network supported navigation, trade, and cultural exchange. Today, Tonga's economy is supported by agriculture, fishing, and tourism. Small-scale tourism focuses on nature, culture, and ocean experiences. Most of the population lives on the main island of Tonga Tapu. Daily life remains closely tied to land, sea, and seasonal rhythms. Tonga reflects the Pacific's enduring traditions, an island nation where deep ocean, island life, and history remain deeply connected. Tahiti. Tahiti is the largest island in French Polynesia, located in the central South Pacific. It serves as the political, economic, and cultural center of the territory. The island is divided into two volcanic masses, Tahiti Nui and Tahiti Iti. These are connected by a narrow isthmus, forming a distinctive shape. Steep mountains rise from the island's interior, covered in dense tropical vegetation. Mount Orahina reaches about 2,241 meters or 7,352 feet, the island's highest point. Tahiti was formed by volcanic activity millions of years ago. Erosion later carved deep valleys, rivers, and dramatic ridgelines. A coral reef partially surrounds the island, creating lagoons in sheltered areas. Water depths near the reef are generally shallow and calm. The surrounding ocean supports reef fish, sharks, rays, and seasonal marine species. Strong offshore currents bring nutrients close to the coast. Tahiti has long been a hub of Polynesian navigation and settlement. It connected voyaging routes across the Central Pacific. Local culture values music, dance, storytelling, and communal life. These traditions remain active in daily social gatherings. Food traditions emphasize fresh fish, coconut, breadfruit, taro, and tropical fruits. Meals reflect both island resources and coastal living. Today, Tahiti's economy is driven by tourism, services, and local trade. Ports, markets, and small businesses support island life. Most of French Polynesia's population lives on Tahiti. Urban areas line the coast, while the interior remains largely undeveloped. Tahiti represents the Pacific's vibrant center, an island where mountains, ocean, and culture converge in everyday life. Vanuatu. Vanuatu is an island nation in the South Pacific Ocean, east of Australia and north of New Zealand. It consists of about 80 islands spread across a long volcanic arc. The islands are formed by active tectonic movement along the Pacific Ring of Fire. Several volcanoes remain active, shaping land and daily life. Mountainous interiors rise sharply from narrow coastlines. Rainforests, rivers, and fertile volcanic soil dominate the landscape. Some islands feature coral reefs and protected lagoons. Others have rugged shores exposed directly to the open Pacific. Ocean waters around Vanuatu remain warm throughout the year. Sea temperatures usually range between 24 to 29 degrees Celsius, 75 to 84 degrees Fahrenheit. Marine ecosystems support reef fish, sea turtles, rays, and offshore species. Fishing remains an important local activity for many communities. Vanuatu has one of the most diverse cultural landscapes in the Pacific. Hundreds of local languages and traditions exist across the islands. Village life traditionally centers on farming, fishing, and shared responsibilities. Community ties shape daily routines and decision-making. Food traditions rely on fish, root crops, coconut, and tropical fruits. Meals are prepared using earth ovens and open-fire cooking methods. Historically, the islands were key points along Pacific navigation routes. Trade and migration connected Vanuatu with nearby island groups. Today, the economy is supported by agriculture, fishing and tourism. Tourism focuses on nature, volcanoes, reefs and cultural experiences. Most people live in small coastal villages or island towns. Urban development remains limited compared to other Pacific regions. Vanuatu reflects the Pacific's raw and living landscape, a place where earth, ocean and tradition continue to shape everyday life. Lifu Island. Lifu Island lies in the Loyalty Islands group, east of New Caledonia in the South Pacific. It is a raised coral island, not volcanic, with flat terrain and dramatic coastal cliffs. The island emerged from ancient coral reefs uplifted above sea level. This geology created caves, sinkholes, and natural limestone formations. Lifu is known for its clear lagoons and abrupt ocean drop-offs. Reef edges fall quickly into deep Pacific waters. The coastline alternates between white sand beaches and rugged rock faces. Freshwater springs emerge from underground limestone channels. Human settlement on Lifu dates back thousands of years. Early communities adapted to coral land by managing water and soil carefully. Local culture places strong emphasis on clan ties and land stewardship. Traditions are passed through storytelling, music, and craftwork. Daily life historically focused on fishing, gardening, and coastal foraging. Ocean knowledge guided travel and food collection. Food traditions rely on fish, shellfish, yams, taro, and coconut. Meals are seasonal and shaped by reef access. Tourism on Lifu remains small-scale and community-based. Activities include lagoon swimming, coastal walking, and cave exploration. There are no large urban centers on the island. Villages are spread along the coast and interior plateaus. Most residents depend on agriculture, fishing, and local services. Modern development remains limited to protect land and culture. Lifu Island reflects a quieter Pacific identity, a place where coral land, deep ocean, and tradition remain closely connected. Isle of Pines. The Isle of Pines lies south of mainland New Caledonia in the South Pacific Ocean. It is a low-lying island known for calm lagoons and tall columnar pine trees. The island is built on raised coral limestone rather than volcanic rock. This geology creates flatland, sandy soils, and clear freshwater pockets. White sand beaches stretch along sheltered bays and shallow lagoons. Reef systems protect the coastline from strong ocean waves. Lagoon depths are generally shallow, averaging 1 to 6 meters, 3 to 20 feet. Water clarity remains high throughout most of the year. Coral reefs support reef fish, sea turtles, and lagoon species. Seagrass beds provide feeding areas close to shore. Human settlement on the island dates back thousands of years. Early communities adapted to coral land through fishing and careful land use. Local culture emphasizes strong ties to land, ancestry, and shared responsibility. Village life remains organized around extended family groups. Food traditions rely on fish, shellfish, yams, taro, and coconut. Meals are seasonal and shaped by reef and lagoon access. Tourism on the Isle of Pines is limited and low impact. Visitors focus on lagoon swimming, snorkeling, and coastal exploration. There are no large towns or urban centers on the island. Small villages are spread across coastal and inland areas. Most residents work in agriculture, fishing, or local services. Modern infrastructure remains minimal compared to nearby regions. The Isle of Pines reflects a gentle side of the Pacific, a place where lagoon waters, coral land, and quiet island life move together. Tarawa. Tarawa is a coral atoll in the central Pacific Ocean and the capital area of Kiribati. It lies just north of the equator, spread across a long, narrow chain of islets. The atoll is formed by coral growth surrounding a shallow lagoon. There are no mountains, only low land rising a few meters above sea level. Lagoon waters are calm and shallow, protected by an outer reef. Depths inside the lagoon average 1 to 5 meters / 3 to 16 feet. The surrounding ocean drops quickly beyond the reef edge. This contrast shapes fishing patterns and daily movement. Tarawa has a long history of human settlement. Communities adapted early to limited land and freshwater resources. Fresh water comes mainly from underground lenses beneath the coral. Careful water management remains essential for survival. Local culture emphasizes cooperation, sharing, and strong family ties. Village life developed around communal decision-making and collective responsibility. Food traditions rely heavily on fish, coconut, breadfruit, and pandanus. Meals are simple and closely tied to reef and lagoon access. Tarawa played a significant role during the Second World War. Remnants of this period remain scattered across parts of the atoll. Today, Tarawa is the most densely populated area in Kiribati. Most government services, schools, and trade centers are located here. Fishing, public services, and small-scale commerce support daily life. Employment options remain limited due to land and resource constraints. Tarawa reflects the Pacific's most fragile edge, a place where ocean, land, and human life exist in constant balance. Honolulu. Honolulu is the capital city of Hawaii, located on the southern coast of Oahu Island. It sits between the Pacific Ocean and a chain of volcanic mountains. The city developed along a natural harbor, protected from open ocean swells. This location made it a key center for travel and exchange across the Pacific. Honolulu's landscape blends beaches, coastal plains, and steep inland ridges. Diamond Head, a volcanic tuff cone, rises to about 232 meters or 761 feet nearby. The island of Oahu was formed by volcanic activity millions of years ago. Erosion later shaped valleys, cliffs, and fertile lowlands. Warm ocean waters surround Honolulu throughout the year. Sea temperatures typically range from 24 to 27 degrees Celsius, 75 to 81 degrees Fahrenheit. Coral reefs fringe parts of the coast, supporting reef fish and marine species. These reefs also reduce wave energy along the shoreline. Honolulu has long been a cultural and economic center in the Pacific. Early settlement focused on fishing, farming, and coastal trade. Local culture values community life, ocean awareness, and shared public spaces. Music, dance, and craft traditions remain visible in everyday life. Food traditions reflect island resources and global connections. Seafood, rice, tropical fruits, and local produce are common. Today, Honolulu is Hawaii's main economic hub. Tourism, shipping, government, and services drive the local economy. The city is home to over 350,000 residents. Urban life concentrates along the coast, while mountains remain largely undeveloped. Honolulu represents a modern Pacific crossroads, a place where ocean routes, island landscapes, and city life meet daily. Kauai. Kauai is the northernmost major island of Hawaii, set deep in the central Pacific Ocean. It is often called the Garden Island due to its dense rainforests and green valleys. The island is one of the oldest in the Hawaiian chain. Millions of years of erosion shaped its cliffs, canyons, and river systems. Mountains rise sharply from the interior, capturing moisture from passing clouds. This creates waterfalls, streams, and fertile landscapes across the island. Kauai's coastline alternates between rugged cliffs and quiet sandy beaches. The Napali coast features steep sea cliffs reaching over 1,200 meters or 3,937 feet. Coral reefs fringe parts of the island, forming shallow lagoons near shore. Ocean waters support reef fish, sea turtles, and seasonal marine species. Historically, communities on Kauai relied on farming and fishing. Irrigation systems supported taro cultivation in valley floors. Local culture emphasizes respect for land and careful resource use. Traditional knowledge guided planting cycles and coastal living. Food traditions focus on fish, taro, sweet potato, and tropical fruits. Meals reflect island-grown ingredients and seasonal harvests. Today, tourism plays a central role in Kauai's economy. Activities include hiking, coastal exploration, and river navigation. The island has a population of about 73,000 people. Most residents live along the coast, while the interior remains largely untouched. Kauai reflects the Pacific shaped by time, an island where rain, rock, and ocean quietly define the landscape. Maui. Maui is the second largest island in Hawaii, located in the central Pacific Ocean. It is formed by two volcanoes joined by a wide isthmus of land. The island's eastern side is dominated by Haleakala, a massive volcanic shield. Its summit rises to about 3,055 meters or 10,023 feet above sea level. Haleakala's slopes shape Maui's climate and landscapes. Higher elevations are cool and dry, while coastal areas remain warm and humid. Maui's coastline is varied, with long sandy beaches, lava rock shores, and sheltered bays. Coral reefs fringe many areas, creating calm waters near the coast. Ocean temperatures generally range between 24 to 27 degrees Celsius, 75 to 81 degrees Fahrenheit. These waters support reef fish, sea turtles, and migrating whales seasonally. Historically, Maui supported large agricultural communities. Irrigation systems allowed farming across valleys and coastal plains. Local culture emphasizes strong connections to land and ocean. Traditional practices guided fishing, farming, and community life. Food traditions rely on fish, taro, sweet potato, and tropical fruits. Meals reflect ingredients grown or harvested locally. Today, Maui's economy is driven largely by tourism and services. Resorts, small towns, and outdoor activities support employment. Popular activities include coastal swimming, hiking, and scenic road journeys. Volcanic landscapes and ocean views attract visitors year-round. Maui has a population of roughly 165,000 residents. Most people live along the coast, with fewer settlements inland. Maui reflects the Pacific's contrasts. An island where volcanic height, coastal calm, and daily life coexist closely. Raja Ampat. Raja Ampat is an archipelago in eastern Indonesia, located off the northwest tip of New Guinea. It lies within the Coral Triangle, one of the most biodiverse marine regions on Earth. The region includes over 1,500 small islands, islets, and shoals. 4 main islands dominate the area, surrounded by deep channels and shallow lagoons. Raja Ampat's landscape combines limestone karst hills, dense rainforest, and hidden coves. Steep cliffs rise directly from clear tropical waters. The surrounding seas are influenced by strong tidal currents. These currents bring nutrients that support rich coral and fish populations. Water temperatures remain stable year-round, averaging 26 to 29 degrees Celsius, 79 to 84 degrees Fahrenheit. Visibility is often high, especially around reef slopes and channels. Raja Ampat is home to hundreds of coral species and thousands of fish species. Many are found nowhere else on the planet. Human settlement here has existed for centuries. Communities traditionally relied on fishing, boat building, and coastal trade. Local culture emphasizes respect for the sea and careful resource use. Customary marine rules guide fishing and reef protection. Food traditions rely on fish, sago, root crops, and tropical fruits. Meals reflect island resources and seasonal availability. Tourism remains limited and conservation-focused. Activities include reef observation, lagoon exploration, and guided nature travel. There are no large cities in Raja Ampat. Small villages are spread across islands and coastal inlets. Most residents depend on fishing, small-scale tourism, and local services. Modern development is carefully managed to protect ecosystems. Raja Ampat represents the Pacific at its most alive. A place where land, sea, and biodiversity exist in rare balance. Guam. Guam is an island in the western Pacific Ocean, located between the Philippines and Japan. It is the largest island in Micronesia and sits near the edge of the Pacific Plate. The island's northern region is formed from raised limestone plateaus. Southern Guam is volcanic with hills, rivers, and rugged terrain. Guam's coastline features cliffs, sandy beaches, and fringing coral reefs. Protected bays contrast with open ocean shores exposed to Pacific swells. Surrounding waters remain warm year-round. Sea temperatures usually range between 26 to 29 degrees Celsius, 79 to 84 degrees Fahrenheit. Coral reefs support reef fish, sea turtles, and coastal marine ecosystems. Drop-offs near shore quickly descend into deep Pacific waters. Guam has a long history of human settlement. Early communities adapted to island life through fishing and farming. Local culture values family ties, respect for elders, and shared responsibility. Village life traditionally revolved around land and sea use. Food traditions rely on fish, rice, root crops, and tropical fruits. Meals reflect both island resources and external influences. Guam has played an important role in Pacific navigation and trade routes. Its position made it a natural stopping point across the ocean. Today, tourism and services support much of the local economy. Beaches, coastal scenery, and marine activities attract visitors. The island has a population of around 170,000 people. Most residents live along coastal and central lowland areas. Guam represents the Pacific at a crossroads, an island shaped by geology, ocean routes, and enduring island life. Saipan. Saipan is the largest island of the Northern Mariana Islands in the western Pacific Ocean. It lies north of Guam, bordered by deep ocean waters and fringing coral reefs. The island's geology combines limestone terraces and volcanic foundations. This creates cliffs, caves, and elevated plateaus overlooking the sea. Coastal plains host most settlements, while higher ground remains lightly developed. Several natural caves and sinkholes formed through limestone erosion. Saipan's surrounding waters are warm and clear year-round. Sea temperatures typically range from 26 to 29 degrees Celsius, 79 to 84 degrees Fahrenheit. Coral reefs fringe large sections of the coast. These reefs support reef fish, sea turtles, and nearshore marine life. The island has a long record of human settlement. Early communities relied on fishing, farming, and coastal navigation. Saipan later became an important strategic location during the 20th century. Remnants of this period remain part of the island's landscape. Local culture reflects a mix of Micronesian traditions and island lifestyles. Community life emphasizes family ties and shared responsibility. Food traditions rely on fish, rice, root crops, and tropical fruits. Meals reflect island resources and regional influences. Today, tourism is a key part of Saipan's economy. Activities focus on beach access, marine exploration, and scenic viewpoints. There is no heavy industry on the island. Most employment comes from services, tourism, and local trade. Saipan has a population of around 48,000 people. Most residents live along the western and southern coasts. Saipan represents a quieter Pacific gateway, an island where ocean views, layered history, and daily island life remain closely connected. Whitsunday Islands. The Whitsunday Islands are a group of continental islands off Australia's northeast coast. They lie within the Coral Sea, close to the central section of the Great Barrier Reef. The island group includes more than 70 islands, most of them uninhabited. They are remnants of ancient mountains, partly submerged by rising sea levels. Hills and ridgelines dominate the interiors, covered with dry woodland and coastal forest. Steep slopes descend directly into sheltered bays and clear waters. The surrounding sea is protected by offshore reefs and island chains. This creates calm sailing conditions across much of the year. Water temperatures generally range from 22 to 28 degrees Celsius, 72 to 82 degrees Fahrenheit. Visibility is often high in bays and reef-adjacent areas. Coral reefs and seagrass meadows support reef fish, turtles, and dugongs. Marine ecosystems remain closely linked to the wider Great Barrier Reef system. Human use of the islands dates back thousands of years. Early coastal communities relied on fishing and seasonal movement. Local culture along the mainland coast developed around maritime skills. Knowledge of tides, winds, and passages shaped daily life. Food traditions in the region emphasize seafood and local produce. Fish and shellfish have long been central to coastal diets. Today, tourism is the main economic activity in the Whitsundays. Sailing, reef access, and island stays support local employment. There are no large permanent towns on most islands. Population centers are based mainly on nearby mainland ports. The Whitsunday Islands reflect Australia's gentle Pacific edge, a place where islands, reef waters and open horizons meet quietly. Taal Volcano. Taal Volcano is located on Luzon Island in the Philippines within a large freshwater lake. It sits about 60 kilometers per 37 miles south of Manila, surrounded by rolling landscapes. The volcano rises from the center of Taal Lake, creating a rare island-in-a-lake formation. Within the main island lies a smaller crater lake, adding another geological layer. Taal is one of the world's smallest active volcanoes by height. Its elevation reaches about 311 meters or 1,020 feet above sea level. The volcano formed through repeated eruptions over thousands of years. These eruptions reshaped the lake basin and surrounding land. Despite its modest size, Taal is among the most active volcanoes in the Philippines. Activity is closely monitored due to nearby communities. The surrounding lake supports fishing and small-scale livelihoods. Freshwater species thrive in areas influenced by volcanic minerals. Local communities have long adapted to living near the volcano. Farming and fishing developed around fertile volcanic soil. Cultural life reflects close ties to land, water, and seasonal change. Daily routines adjust to natural conditions and safety guidelines. Food traditions in the region emphasize fish, rice, vegetables, and local produce. Ingredients are shaped by lake access and fertile farmland. Tourism focuses on viewing points and guided lake access. Boat travel offers wide views of the volcano and crater island. Several towns are located along the lake's edge. Population density increases closer to regional trade routes. Taal Volcano reflects the Pacific Ring of Fire in motion, a landscape where water, earth, and human life remain closely connected. Mount Pinatubo. Mount Pinatubo is an active stratovolcano located on Luzon Island in the Philippines. It lies about 90 kilometers or 56 miles northwest of Manila within the Zambales mountain range. The volcano once rose as a forested peak before a major eruption reshaped it. In 1991, a powerful eruption caused the summit to collapse inward. This collapse formed a wide caldera, later filled by rainwater. Today, a striking crater lake sits at the volcano's center. The crater lake's color shifts between blue and green. These changes depend on rainfall, minerals, and volcanic activity levels. Mount Pinatubo's slopes are composed of volcanic ash and hardened lava. Surrounding valleys were reshaped by ash flows and rain-driven mud deposits. The eruption released massive amounts of material into the atmosphere. This event affected global climate patterns for a short period. Despite past destruction, vegetation has slowly returned to the area. Grasses, shrubs, and young forests now cover many slopes. Local communities adapted to new landscapes formed after the eruption. River systems changed, influencing farming and settlement patterns. Food traditions in nearby regions rely on rice, vegetables, and freshwater fish. Fertile volcanic soil supports long-term agriculture. Tourism today focuses on guided access to the crater lake. Visitors travel across ash plains and riverbeds to reach viewing areas. There is no permanent settlement on the volcano itself. Nearby towns support tourism and regional livelihoods. Mount Pinatubo stands as a reminder of natural transformation, a place where destruction and renewal exist side by side. Mount Rainier. Mount Rainier is a massive stratovolcano in Washington state, overlooking the Pacific Northwest. It rises prominently above surrounding lowlands, visible from hundreds of kilometers away. The mountain reaches 4,392 meters or 14,411 feet, making it the highest peak in the Cascade Range. Its upper slopes are permanently covered by snow and ice. More than 25 major glaciers flow down its sides. Together, they form the largest glacier system in the contiguous United States. Mount Rainier was formed by repeated volcanic eruptions over hundreds of thousands of years. Although currently dormant, it remains an active volcano. Glacial rivers originate on the mountain's slopes. These rivers supply fresh water to valleys and coastal regions below. The surrounding landscape includes alpine meadows, forests, and volcanic rock fields. Seasonal wildflowers transform high meadows during warmer months. Indigenous communities have long recognized the mountain's presence and influence. It shaped travel routes, water systems, and regional awareness. Food systems in nearby regions developed around fertile volcanic soil. Farming in surrounding lowlands benefits from mineral-rich deposits. Today, the area is protected as Mount Rainier National Park. Tourism focuses on hiking, glacier viewing, and landscape observation. Weather conditions can change rapidly due to elevation. Snowfall occurs even during summer at higher altitudes. There is no permanent population on the mountain itself. Nearby towns support park services and regional travel. Mount Rainier defines the Pacific Northwest skyline, a towering reminder of volcanic power, ice, and long geological time. Moorea Island. Moorea Island rises from the Pacific like a dramatic crown of jagged peaks and emerald valleys. Just northwest of Tahiti, this heart-shaped island feels wild, intimate, and deeply cinematic. Sharp volcanic mountains dominate the interior, with Mount Rotui standing guard between two iconic bays. Cook's Bay and Opunohu Bay carve deep into the island, creating natural harbors framed by steep green walls. Moorea was formed by volcanic activity millions of years ago. Erosion sculpted its peaks into dramatic spires, leaving behind fertile valleys and flowing streams. The island is surrounded by a shallow lagoon protected by a coral reef. Crystal clear waters reveal coral gardens, reef fish, rays, and gentle lagoon sharks. On land, pineapple fields blanket rolling hills. Moorea is one of the main pineapple producers in French Polynesia. Polynesian culture remains strong here. Traditional music, dance, and crafts are part of everyday island life. Ancient stone marae sites are scattered across valleys and coastal plains. These platforms once served as spiritual and community centers. Moorea's pace of life is slow and deeply connected to nature. There are no high-rise cities or crowded highways. Hiking trails climb into cloud-covered peaks. Lookouts reveal sweeping views of lagoon blues meeting deep Pacific waters. Tourism exists, but it feels balanced and personal. Eco-lodges and small resorts blend into the landscape rather than overpower it. Sunsets wash the mountains in gold and purple. As night falls, the island grows quiet under a sky filled with stars. Moorea is not just seen, it is felt through wind, water, and the steady rhythm of the Pacific. Opunohu Bay. Opunohu Bay curves gently into Moorea like a calm breath taken by the island itself. Wider and quieter than its neighboring bays, it feels untouched, almost secret. Towering volcanic peaks rise steeply from the shoreline, their ridges softened by dense tropical forest. Mist often clings to the mountains, creating shifting silhouettes that change with the light. This bay was shaped by ancient volcanic collapse and centuries of erosion. The result is a deep, sheltered inlet framed by dramatic green walls. The water here is calm and glassy. It reflects the mountains so clearly that sky and land seem to merge. Opunohu Bay was once an important center of Polynesian civilization. The surrounding valley holds numerous ancient marae, stone ceremonial platforms hidden among trees. These sites speak of chiefs, rituals, and a time when the valley was a political and spiritual heart of Moorea. Unlike busier lagoons, marine life here thrives quietly. Small fish move through the shallows, while rays glide along sandy bottoms near the reef. The bay is ideal for kayaking and paddleboarding. Movement is slow, allowing the landscape to reveal itself naturally. Roads thin out as you move inland. Pineapple fields and breadfruit trees replace buildings and crowds. There are no large resorts pressing against the shore. Nature remains the dominant presence. At sunset, the bay grows still. Mountains darken, reflections fade, and the Pacific seems to pause. Opunohu Bay is not dramatic by noise or spectacle. Its power lies in silence, space, and deep Polynesian memory. Monterey. Monterey rests quietly along California's central coast, where land softens into the Pacific Ocean. This is a place shaped as much by water as by time. Cold Pacific currents sweep in from the deep, feeding one of the richest marine ecosystems on Earth. Just offshore lies Monterey Bay Canyon, deeper than the Grand Canyon and carved by ancient geological forces. For centuries, Monterey has drawn explorers, fishermen, and dreamers. Spanish expeditions established it as California's first capital, leaving behind adobe buildings and coastal forts. The city's early economy was driven by the sea. Sardine canneries once lined Cannery Row, transforming Monterey into a global fishing hub. When the fish disappeared, the city reinvented itself. What remains is history preserved rather than erased. Today, the Pacific defines daily life here. Sea lions rest on docks, kelp forests sway beneath the surface, and seabirds circle the bay. Monterey Bay Aquarium stands at the edge of the water, built where canneries once operated. It now protects and showcases the ocean that once fueled the city's rise. Coastal trails follow rugged cliffs where waves crash endlessly below. Fog rolls in without warning, wrapping the shoreline in silence. Kayakers drift above underwater forests. Whales pass through the bay during long migrations, visible from shore. Despite its fame, Monterey feels unhurried. There are no towering skylines, only sea air and open horizons. Here, the Pacific is not decoration. It is the city's past, its present, and its constant companion. Laguna Beach. Laguna Beach clings to the edge of Southern California, where cliffs fall sharply into the Pacific Ocean. This is not a flat coastline. It is a sculpted edge where land and sea meet in constant motion. The shoreline is carved into hidden coves, rocky headlands, and small crescent beaches. Each cove feels separate, almost secret, shaped by waves over thousands of years. The Pacific here is clear and alive. Kelp forests stretch just offshore, creating underwater corridors for fish, sea lions, and rays. Laguna Beach became an art colony long before it became a destination. Artists were drawn to its light, its colors, and the way fog and sunset constantly repaint the landscape. That creative spirit still defines the town. Galleries line the streets, and public art blends naturally with the coastal scenery. Above the beaches, coastal bluffs rise steeply. Walking paths trace the cliffs, offering uninterrupted views of endless blue horizons. Tide pools appear at low tide, revealing miniature worlds of sea stars, anemones, and crabs. These fragile ecosystems sit just inches from crashing surf. The town itself remains compact and human in scale. There are no massive high-rises blocking the ocean. Sunsets are the daily ritual. The Pacific turns gold, then copper, then deep blue as waves glow with reflected light. Laguna Beach balances nature and creativity effortlessly. Here, the Pacific is both a canvas and a living force, constantly shaping the land, the culture, and the rhythm of life. Morro Bay. Morro Bay unfolds along California's central coast, where the Pacific feels raw, quiet, and deeply powerful. This is a place defined by one unmistakable presence rising from the sea. Morro Rock stands at the entrance of the harbor, a massive volcanic plug shaped over millions of years. It rises straight from the water, dark and immovable, guiding sailors long before modern navigation. The bay itself is calm and sheltered. While waves thunder outside, the inner waters remain gentle and reflective. Cold Pacific currents nourish rich marine life here. Sea otters float on their backs near the shore, cracking shells as kelp forests sway below. Seals and sea lions gather along docks and sandbars. Birds circle overhead, feeding where ocean meets estuary. Morro Bay's identity has always been tied to fishing and the sea. Small boats still head out early, returning with fresh catch by afternoon. The harbour is framed by low hills and open skies. There are no towering buildings, only boats, water, and horizon. Kayaking here feels intimate. Paddling past Morro Rock reveals changing textures of stone, sea, and light. Beyond the town, long beaches stretch north and south. Winds shape sand dunes while waves roll endlessly toward shore. Fog often arrives quietly, softening edges and muting sound. When it lifts, the Pacific appears vast and luminous. Morro Bay is not loud or hurried. It invites stillness, patience, and respect for the ocean's enduring presence. Vancouver Island. Vancouver Island stretches along Canada's western edge, where ancient forests meet the untamed Pacific Ocean. This is a land shaped by rain, waves, and deep geological time. Separated from the mainland by narrow straits, the island feels distinctly wild and self-contained. Cold Pacific waters wrap its shores, feeding rich marine ecosystems just offshore. Towering coastal rainforests dominate the landscape. Giant cedar, fir, and spruce trees rise like natural cathedrals, draped in moss and mist. The Pacific defines life here. Powerful swells crash against rugged cliffs on the west coast, while calmer eastern waters shelter bays and harbors. Vancouver Island is one of the best places on Earth for marine wildlife encounters. Orcas patrol coastal channels, while humpback whales migrate past the shoreline each year. Sea lions, seals, and sea otters thrive in nutrient-rich waters. Beneath the surface, kelp forests sway like underwater forests. Human history here runs deep. Indigenous nations lived along these coasts for thousands of years, guided by the rhythms of sea and forest. European settlement arrived later, drawn by trade routes and sheltered harbors. Remnants of this past still linger in coastal towns and ports. Weather shapes everything. Storms roll in from the Pacific with dramatic force, turning the coastline into a theater of wind and waves. Yet calm moments follow. Fog lifts, sunlight breaks through clouds, and the island feels timeless. Vancouver Island is not just scenic, it is a living boundary between land and the Pacific dash, where nature still sets the rules. The Arch of Cabo San Lucas. The Arch of Cabo San Lucas rises from the sea like a stone gateway between two worlds. Here, the Pacific Ocean collides with the Sea of Cortez at the very tip of the Baja California Peninsula. This dramatic granite formation was shaped over millions of years by wind, waves, and relentless erosion. What began as solid rock slowly hollowed, collapsed, and transformed into a natural arch standing above the water. The arch marks a geographical threshold. On one side, the Pacific crashes with power and unpredictability. On the other, calmer waters shimmer in protected coves. Sailors have used this landmark for centuries. Long before modern maps, the arch signaled safe passage and the edge of the continent. The surrounding waters are alive. Sea lions rest on nearby rocks, basking in the sun and diving playfully into the surf. Seabirds circle overhead, nesting along the jagged cliffs. Below the surface, tropical fish move through clear currents shaped by meeting seas. Access to the arch is only possible by water. Small boats, kayaks, and paddleboards approach carefully, guided by tides and swell. At sunrise, the stone glows warm against deep blue water. At sunset, the arch becomes a silhouette framed by gold and crimson skies. This is not just a scenic landmark. It is a reminder of Earth's patience. How time, water, and stone quietly sculpt icons that outlast civilizations. Standing near the arch, you feel it clearly. The continent ends here. The Pacific begins. Puerto Vallarta. Puerto Vallarta rests along Mexico's Pacific coast, where the Sierra Madre Mountains descend into the sea. This meeting of jungle, mountains, and ocean gives the city its dramatic natural frame. Banderas Bay curves gently around the coastline, creating one of the largest and most protected bays on the Pacific. Its calm waters contrast with the open ocean beyond, shaping both the city's rhythm and lifestyle. Originally a small fishing village, Puerto Vallarta remained largely isolated until the mid-20th century. Its transformation into an international destination came without erasing its coastal soul. The Pacific defines daily life here. Fishing boats leave early, returning as pelicans circle low over the harbor. Golden beaches stretch north and south of the city. Some are lively and social, others hidden and quiet, accessible only by boat or forest paths. Warm Pacific currents bring rich marine life close to shore. Sea turtles, rays, and large schools of fish move through these waters seasonally. The old town remains human in scale. Cobblestone streets, whitewashed buildings, and red-tiled roofs reflect a slower coastal pace. As the sun lowers, the bay becomes a mirror of color. Mountains darken, the Pacific glows, and the city softens into evening calm. Beyond the shoreline, rainforest-covered hills rise steeply. Waterfalls, rivers, and jungle trails remind visitors how close wilderness remains. Puerto Vallarta balances energy and ease. It is a city shaped not by conquest of the Pacific, but by learning to live alongside it. Manuel Antonio National Park. Manuel Antonio National Park sits where Costa Rica's dense rainforest meets the warm waters of the Pacific Ocean. Though small in size, it holds one of the richest concentrations of biodiversity in the region. The landscape shifts quickly here. Thick jungle trails open suddenly onto white sand beaches framed by turquoise water and offshore islands. The Pacific shapes everything. Calm bays allow coral and marine life to thrive close to shore, while deeper waters support dolphins and migrating whales. The rainforest canopy is alive with movement. Sloths rest high in trees, monkeys leap between branches, and tropical birds flash through filtered light. Trails wind through both primary and secondary forest. They lead to elevated viewpoints where emerald jungle drops directly into endless blue ocean. Manuel Antonio's beaches are part of the ecosystem, not separate from it. Palm trees provide shade while waves roll gently onto sand, creating ideal swimming and snorkeling conditions. The park protects critical coastal habitats. Mangroves, coral reefs, and rainforest coexist within a compact area shaped by the Pacific climate. Human presence here is carefully controlled. Access is limited to preserve wildlife and fragile environments. At sunrise, mist drifts through trees as the ocean remains glassy and quiet. By afternoon, the Pacific sparkles under open sky. Manuel Antonio is not just scenic. It is a rare place where jungle and ocean exist in perfect balance, raw, alive, and unmistakably Pacific. Carrillo Beach. Carrillo Beach lies along Costa Rica's northern Pacific coast in the Guanacaste region. It is known for its wide crescent of pale sand and calm, sheltered waters. The beach faces the open Pacific, but remains naturally protected. A gentle curve and offshore conditions keep waves smooth and predictable. Palm trees line the shore instead of large developments. The landscape feels open, quiet, and deeply connected to nature. Carrillo's geography makes it ideal for swimming. The seabed slopes gradually, creating safe conditions close to the shoreline. Local fishing boats rest on the sand. Many families here still rely on traditional coastal livelihoods shaped by the Pacific. Fresh seafood defines daily life. Catches often arrive directly from the ocean to nearby kitchens and small eateries. The surrounding area supports rich wildlife. Howler monkeys, iguanas, and tropical birds are commonly seen near the beach. During certain seasons, sea turtles visit nearby shores to nest. These ancient migrations reflect the Pacific's long ecological rhythms. Sunsets at Carrillo are slow and expansive. The sky shifts from gold to deep orange over a calm ocean horizon. There are no crowds or loud attractions. Life here follows daylight, tides, and weather patterns. Carrillo offers a quieter Pacific experience, a place shaped by simplicity, open space, and the steady presence of the ocean. Uvita Beach. Uvita Beach stretches along Costa Rica's southern Pacific coast on the edge of the Osa region. It is famous for its vast shoreline and dramatic meeting of rainforest and ocean. At low tide, the sand reveals a rare natural formation shaped like a whale's tail. This phenomenon is created by shifting currents and exposed rock beneath the surface. The beach forms part of Merino Baleina National Park. It protects coastal ecosystems vital to marine and bird life. Uvita sits directly along major Pacific whale migration routes. Humpback whales arrive seasonally to breed and nurse calves in nearby waters. The coastline is backed by dense tropical forest. Green hills rise sharply behind dark volcanic sand. Ocean conditions change with the seasons. Calm bays support swimming, while open stretches attract surfers. Snorkeling is possible near rocky outcrops during clear conditions. Tide pools appear at low water, revealing starfish and small reef fish. Local life moves at a slower rhythm. Fishing, small tourism businesses, and conservation guide daily routines. Fresh seafood features prominently in local cuisine. Meals reflect simple coastal traditions tied to the Pacific. Sunsets here feel expansive and unhurried. The horizon glows as the ocean absorbs the day's final light. Uvita Beach offers a balance of wild nature and quiet access. A Pacific landscape shaped by tides, wildlife, and open space. Easter Island. Easter Island rises alone from the southeastern Pacific Ocean, over 3,500 kilometers or 2,175 miles from mainland Chile. It is one of the most isolated inhabited islands on Earth. The island is triangular in shape and formed by 3 extinct volcanoes. Rugged lava fields and grassy plains dominate the landscape. Easter Island is known locally as Rapa Nui. Polynesian settlers arrived here around 1200 CE after long ocean voyages. The island is famous for its moai statues. Around 900 stone figures were carved from volcanic rock. These statues were created to honor ancestors and leaders. Most were placed along the coast, facing inland communities. The quarry at Rano Raraku shows hundreds of unfinished moai. It reveals how stone carving shaped island life for centuries. Freshwater sources are limited. Rain collects in crater lakes and underground lava channels. The surrounding Pacific waters are deep and nutrient-rich. Marine life supports fishing traditions that remain important today. Local cuisine reflects island resources. Fish, root crops, and seasonal produce define daily meals. The island's population is around 8,000 people. Modern life blends Polynesian heritage with Chilean administration. Easter Island feels both ancient and remote, a Pacific place shaped by isolation, resilience, and human creativity. Atacama Desert. The Atacama Desert stretches along northern Chile, between the Pacific Ocean and the Andes Mountains. It is often cited as the driest non-polar desert on Earth. Some areas receive no measurable rainfall for decades. This extreme dryness is shaped by Pacific currents and mountain rain shadows. The cold Humboldt Current cools coastal air. Moisture fails to rise, leaving clouds without rain. The desert spans from sea level to high plateaus above 4,000 meters or 13,123 feet. Landscapes shift from salt flats to volcanoes and deep canyons. El Tatio hosts one of the world's largest geyser fields. Steam columns rise at dawn in thin, freezing air. Valleys like Valle de la Luna show wind-carved rock and sand dunes. The terrain resembles lunar surfaces formed by erosion. Despite harsh conditions, life persists. Microorganisms survive in salt crusts and underground moisture pockets. The region supports major astronomical observatories. Clear skies and dry air allow precise space observation. Human settlements remain small and scattered. San Pedro de Atacama serves as a cultural and travel hub. Local food reflects desert adaptation. Quinoa, maize, and preserved ingredients are common. The Atacama feels vast and silent, a place shaped by Pacific forces, altitude, and time. Tongoy. Tongoy sits on Chile's Pacific coast in the Coquimbo region, about 42 kilometers or 26 miles south of La Serena. It occupies a rocky peninsula that divides two contrasting beaches. Playa Grande faces open Pacific waters. Winds and waves make it popular for walking and open coastal views. Playa Socos lies on the sheltered side of the peninsula. Its calmer waters suit swimming and family activities. The town developed as a fishing settlement. The Pacific still shapes daily life and local routines. Tongoy is closely linked to shellfish harvesting. Clams, oysters, and mussels are cultivated in nearby coastal waters. Seafood defines the local cuisine. Dishes reflect fresh catch prepared with simple coastal methods. The surrounding landscape is semi-arid. Low hills and scrub vegetation contrast with blue Pacific horizons. Bird life is common along the shore. Seabirds gather near fishing areas and tidal zones. The beaches stretch for several kilometers. Wide sands allow quiet walks without heavy crowds. The climate is mild and dry. Pacific breezes moderate temperatures throughout the year. Small boats rest along the shoreline. They signal a working coast rather than a resort center. Tongoy offers a peaceful Pacific experience, a coastal town shaped by fishing traditions, open space, and calm rhythms. Chiloé Island. Chiloé Island lies off southern Chile's Pacific coast, separated from the mainland by the Chacao Channel. It is shaped by rolling hills, tidal inlets, and long windswept shorelines. The island's climate is cool and wet. Pacific storms bring frequent rain that feeds dense forests and green pastures. Chiloé is known for its wooden architecture. Colorful stilt houses called palafitos line sheltered bays and tidal flats. These homes rise on timber piles. They adapt daily life to tides, currents, and changing water levels. Human settlement here dates back over 6,000 years. Maritime skills shaped travel, trade, and food traditions. Local culture blends island identity with mainland influence. Storytelling, music, and communal work remain important. The tradition of Minga reflects this spirit. Entire houses are moved together by land or sea using shared effort. Food on Chiloé is distinctive. Curanto combines seafood, meat, and vegetables cooked slowly with hot stones. Potato farming is central to island life. Over 400 native varieties are recorded across the archipelago. The surrounding Pacific waters are productive. Fishing and shellfish gathering support coastal communities. Fog often drifts inland at dusk. It softens the landscape and quiets the shoreline. Chiloé feels rooted and resilient, an island shaped by tides, teamwork, and a strong sense of place. Clutha River. The Clutha River is one of New Zealand's most powerful and fast-flowing rivers, stretching across the southern South Island. It begins its journey at Lake Wanaka and flows southeast toward the Pacific Ocean. This river carries more water than any other river in New Zealand. Its wide channels and strong currents reflect the raw energy of alpine landscapes. The Clutha has played a crucial role in New Zealand's history. During the 19th century gold rush, Its banks attracted thousands of prospectors. Small towns grew along its course. Many still carry traces of that gold mining past. The river shapes fertile valleys and dramatic gorges. Sheer cliffs and braided sections reveal centuries of erosion. Hydroelectric dams harness its force today. They supply electricity while altering parts of the natural flow. Despite development, the Clutha remains deeply respected. It is known as Mata Au in Maori tradition, meaning current or eddy of life. The river supports diverse ecosystems. Native fish and bird life depend on its waters and wetlands. Seasonal changes transform its character. Snowmelt swells the river in spring, while winter brings quieter, colder flows. For locals, the Clutha is both a resource and a symbol. A river that reflects New Zealand's balance between nature, history, and modern life. The Catlins. The Catlins is one of New Zealand's most remote and untouched coastal regions, located on the southeastern edge of the South Island. Here, dense temperate rainforests meet wild, windswept coastlines shaped by the Southern Ocean. This region feels raw and unfiltered. Rugged cliffs, hidden waterfalls, and long, empty beaches dominate the landscape. The Catlins is known for its dramatic natural features. Waterfalls like Purakaunui plunge through forest canopies, while sea caves and rock arches emerge along the shore. Wildlife is a defining part of the experience. Rare yellow-eyed penguins, sea lions, and fur seals can often be seen resting on remote beaches. Human settlement is sparse. Small communities are scattered across vast distances, preserving the area's quiet and isolated character. The coastline changes constantly with the weather. Misty mornings, crashing waves, and sudden sunlight create an ever-shifting atmosphere. The Catlins also holds deep cultural and historical importance. Early Maori roots passed through this region, followed later by European settlers and timber workers. Today, it stands as a reminder of New Zealand before tourism reshaped much of the country. A place where nature still leads, and silence is part of the landscape. Castle Point. Castle Point is one of New Zealand's most striking coastal landmarks, set along the rugged Wairarapa coast of the North Island. This small seaside settlement is defined by contrast, towering limestone cliffs rising above a wide, wind-swept beach. At the heart of Castle Point stands its most iconic feature, a massive rock formation shaped like a natural fortress, carved by millions of years of erosion from sea and wind. The coastline here feels open and powerful. Strong ocean currents roll in from the Pacific, shaping long beaches and dramatic wave patterns. Castle Point Lighthouse crowns the headland above. From this high vantage point, the views stretch endlessly across the ocean, especially during sunrise and stormy weather. The area is also known for its unique geology. Fossil-rich limestone reefs are exposed at low tide, revealing ancient marine life embedded in stone. Despite its dramatic setting, Castle Point remains quiet and lightly developed. Small homes and holiday cabins sit scattered across the dunes and hills. Weather plays a central role in Castle Point's personality. Calm days feel peaceful and expansive, while rough conditions transform the coast into a raw, cinematic landscape. Castle Point is not about crowds or luxury. It is about space, wind, sea, and the timeless rhythm of the New Zealand coast. Akaroa. Akaroa is a small harbour town tucked deep within the volcanic folds of Banks Peninsula on New Zealand's South Island. The town sits inside an ancient collapsed volcano, creating a naturally sheltered bay with calm, reflective waters. The landscape here feels gentle yet dramatic. Steep green hills curve down toward the harbour, enclosing the town in a natural amphitheatre. Akaroa carries a distinct historical identity. It is the only place in New Zealand with a lasting French colonial influence still visible in its street names, architecture, and layout. The harbour defines daily life. Quiet waters support boating, kayaking, and close encounters with marine wildlife. Akaroa is famous for its rare Hector's dolphins. These small dolphins often surface close to shore, making the bay one of the few places in the world where they can be seen regularly. The town itself moves at an unhurried pace. Small cafes, local shops, and historic buildings line the waterfront without overwhelming the natural setting. Surrounding hills provide panoramic viewpoints. From above, the contrast between blue water, green slopes, and the curved volcanic rim becomes strikingly clear. Akaroa feels intimate rather than grand. It is a place shaped by geography, history, and quiet coastal life, where nature and human presence remain in careful balance. Christchurch. Christchurch is the largest city on New Zealand's South Island, often described as the gateway to the Canterbury region. It sits between the Pacific Ocean and the Southern Alps, giving the city a unique balance of urban life and open landscapes. Known as the Garden City, Christchurch is defined by green spaces. Tree-lined avenues, expansive parks, and the Avon River shape the city's calm and spacious atmosphere. The city carries a layered history. Early Maori settlement was followed by British colonial planning, which influenced Christchurch's wide streets and classical architecture. Christchurch has also been shaped by resilience. Major earthquakes in the early 2000s transformed the city, leading to one of the most ambitious urban rebuilds in the country. Modern Christchurch blends old and new. Historic buildings stand alongside contemporary architecture, public art, and innovative urban design. The coastline lies just minutes away. Nearby beaches stretch along the Pacific, while the Canterbury Plains open toward distant mountains. Christchurch functions as a major cultural and educational centre. Museums, universities, and creative spaces give the city a thoughtful and forward-looking character. Despite its size, the city feels relaxed. Life moves at a measured pace, shaped by open skies, seasonal change, and connection to nature. Christchurch is not just a city to visit, it is a place constantly redefining itself, rooted in landscape, history, and renewal. Coromandel Peninsula. The Coromandel Peninsula is one of New Zealand's most scenic coastal regions, stretching into the Pacific from the eastern side of the North Island. It is a land of contrasts, where forested mountains drop suddenly into quiet beaches and sheltered bays. The interior is rugged and green. Dense native forests cover steep hills, hiding waterfalls, walking trails, and remnants of old gold mining routes. Along the coast, the atmosphere changes completely. Golden sand beaches, rocky coves, and clear blue waters define the shoreline, shaped by centuries of wind and tide. The Coromandel feels relaxed and unhurried. Small seaside towns and isolated communities are scattered along winding coastal roads. This region has long attracted artists, explorers, and those seeking distance from city life. Its isolation helped preserve both its landscapes and its quiet character. The ocean plays a central role here. Calm bays invite swimming and kayaking, while exposed beaches face powerful Pacific swells. Cultural history runs deep beneath the surface. Maori heritage, early European settlement, and gold rush history all intersect across the peninsula. Weather and light constantly transform the scenery. Morning mist clings to hills, afternoons glow with coastal sunlight, and evenings settle into deep stillness. The Coromandel is not defined by a single landmark. It is defined by space, silence, and the feeling of being close to nature at every turn. Victoria Harbour. Victoria Harbour is the heart of Hong Kong, a wide natural harbour that separates Hong Kong Island from the Kowloon Peninsula. It is one of the world's most iconic urban waterways, where geography and human ambition collide. The harbour's setting is dramatic. Steep mountains rise directly behind clusters of skyscrapers, creating a skyline that feels both dense and vertical. Victoria Harbour has shaped Hong Kong's identity for centuries. Its deep, sheltered waters made it a strategic trading port, laying the foundation for the city's rise as a global commercial hub. Life here never truly slows. Ferries, cargo ships, and cruise vessels move constantly across the water, tracing invisible routes between districts and continents. By day, the harbour reflects steel, glass, and motion. At night, it transforms into a stage of light, with illuminated towers mirrored across the dark surface of the sea. The harbour is also a cultural boundary. It divides neighbourhoods with distinct histories, languages, and rhythms, yet connects them through daily movement. Public promenades line both sides of the water. From these walkways, the scale of the city becomes fully visible, compressed, energetic, and alive. Victoria Harbour is not just a backdrop. It is the central artery of Hong Kong, shaping trade, culture, and identity. Here, the sea does not separate the city, it defines it. Port Moresby. Port Moresby is the capital and largest city of Papua New Guinea, set along the shores of the Coral Sea on the island of New Guinea. Its location places it at the crossroads of Melanesian culture, rugged landscapes, and the open Pacific. The city's geography is striking. Dry hills and rocky headlands surround natural harbours, while turquoise waters stretch outward toward offshore reefs and islands. Port Moresby is deeply shaped by tradition. Hundreds of indigenous cultures across Papua New Guinea connect here, bringing languages, customs, and identities into a single urban space. Modern development and traditional life exist side by side. Government buildings, ports, and commercial districts rise alongside villages where ancestral practices continue. the harbour has long been central to the city's role. It functions as a gateway for trade, travel, and connection between Papua New Guinea and the wider world. Nature remains close at hand. Just beyond the city limits, coral reefs, mangroves, and tropical waters support rich marine ecosystems. The climate is warm and intense. Bright sunlight, sudden rain, and humid air shape daily life and the city's rhythm. Port Moresby carries complexity rather than polish. It is a city still forming its modern identity while holding firmly to its roots. More than a destination, Port Moresby represents transition. Between land and sea, tradition and change, isolation and connection within the Pacific world. Sydney. Sydney is Australia's most internationally recognised city, built around one of the largest and most beautiful natural harbours in the world. Set along the Pacific coast of New South Wales, the city balances ocean energy with urban scale. The harbour defines Sydney's identity. Deep blue waters weave between peninsulas, islands and coves, shaping how the city moves and breathes. Sydney's geography is unusually dramatic for a major city. Cliffs, headlands and sandy beaches sit just minutes from dense commercial districts. The city grew from a colonial port into a global metropolis. Its history is layered with indigenous heritage, maritime trade, migration, and modern development. Sydney's coastline is central to everyday life. From calm harbour bays to powerful ocean beaches, the sea influences culture, recreation, and lifestyle. Urban life here feels outward-facing. Public spaces open toward the water, and ferries function as part of daily transport rather than tourism alone. The climate supports an outdoor rhythm. Bright sunlight, mild winters, and long summers keep the city active year-round. Despite its size, Sydney is defined by contrast. Quiet coastal suburbs exist alongside one of the Southern Hemisphere's busiest financial centres. Sydney is not just a city by the sea, it is a city shaped by water, light and constant movement. where land and ocean remain inseparably connected. From remote islands lost in the Pacific to volcanic landscapes, coral seas, and powerful coastlines. This journey reveals how the ocean connects worlds that seem impossibly far apart. Each place we explored tells a different story. Some shaped by fire beneath the earth, others carved slowly by waves, wind, and time. Yet they all share one truth. The Pacific is not just water. It is history, movement, life, and mystery, still unfolding. Much of this world remains unexplored. Unmapped depths, untold stories, questions science has yet to answer. And that's what makes it extraordinary. If this journey changed the way you see the ocean, support the channel by liking this video. Subscribe to stay with us as we continue uncovering the hidden wonders of our planet. And tell us in the comments. Which place from this journey left the strongest impression on you, and why? Your support is free, but it keeps these stories alive.